it's meant to be, then it will, God willing. Sky's the limit and I'm busting out the ceiling. Starting to get to the point where I don't catch feeling. Just counting these millions, I need 100 a show. If you can't pay, it's enough. I would never sell my soul. That's the truth, Lord knows. All I need is good vibes, so I don't trust these hoes. I done lost my bros. That's just how the game goes. Came a long way, get it straight. They want the food on my plate. They don't want to see me strive, but want a piece of the cake. All I need is good vibes, and everything will be great. But they rather tell.
What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? What's going on, people? Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host, Grand Hefe, as I am every single day of the week. I know I've been slacking this week. Got a lot of stuff going on. Sorry about that. But at least I gave you guys the 3 shows as I normally promise you guys. Today it's been a busy day for me, and it's gonna be a busy day all day today. My son's birthday today. His first birthday is today. So I've been running around. Not really running around, but I just been like having to do a lot of stuff this morning. Also in between trying to get ready for the show and stuff. But nonetheless, we are here. Get ready for a good show today. Before we get started, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram and Twitter at GrandHefe, GRANXJFE, all one word. Also, make sure you guys are following the Unpopular Opinion Podcast on Facebook at Unpopular Opinion 2018, all one word. Also, make sure you guys are following the Unpopular Opinion Podcast on Twitter at Unpopular 2018 and on Instagram at Unpopular_Opinion 2018. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this show off right. Duke played last night. Duke played a Texas Tech team that came into the game undefeated. And if you didn't watch that game, or if you have not seen Texas Tech play this year, and that was my first time seeing Texas Tech play, all I know is they were undefeated at the time. So I'm looking at it like, they probably are not that good. They're just probably one of those teams that really haven't played anybody. They came into the game at 10-0. And I'm like, yeah, they probably haven't played anybody. That's why this team is so good. But if you watch that game last night, that's a good Texas Tech team. That James Culver, that guy can really put the ball in the basket. Struggled last night, but he hit timely shots and still ended the game with 25 points, only on 9 of 21 shooting. But Zion Williamson, he, to be as big as he is and to be as strong as he is and as powerful as he shoots free throws really, really well. Shot 90% from the free throw line last night, 9 of 10, 4 of 9 from the field. He kind of couldn't get going all night. He was off in and out of the game due to foul trouble. Still in the game with 17 points. RJ Barrett really, really, really struggled last night. In the first half, I know he was in the first half, he only had 6 points and he was 3 of 14. Finished the game 7 of 22, 0 for 7 from the 3-point line, 16 points. Cam Reddish struggled again. He hit one big shot late. He hit that one big 3 late in that game. He was in foul trouble kind of early too, so he kind of sat out for much of the first half. At halftime, he was only 0 for 2, 0 points. He finished the game 1 of 7, 1 of 5 from 3, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, finished with 8 points. He had 6 turnovers. He was really sloppy on the offensive end as well, but he did play good defense. But the steal of the game, the guy that really hasn't got any pub for that win last night, a guy who should be getting more publicity because they won last night, because I think he's the reason why they won last night, and that's Tre Jones. This kid, Tre Jones, his timely on the ball pressure all night, and if you watch Duke play, this game kind of reminded me from Tre Jones, kind of reminded me of what I saw from him in the first game of the year when they played Kentucky. How he was just so aggressive on the ball, frustrating the ball carrier, poking his hand in there, trying to get charges. He did a great job last night. I think he had 6 steals. Then he had another 2 forced turnovers because he took 2 charges, timely buckets and ones. I think Trey Jones is the reason why they won last night. He only had 13 points. He didn't necessarily take over. Yeah, 13 points, 6 steals, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Timely. And he only had 1 turnover. That's what you want. Plus 5 inning turnover margin for your point guard. I think he's the reason why they won. Jack White, he hit two big threes. At one point in this game, Duke was 0 for 15 from 3. And they were still in the game. That shows you how great this team, or how good this team is, and how great they could be. You know, where you were 0 for 15 from 3, and I think at that point when they were 0 for 15 before they hit their first 3, they were only down by 2, because I think that 3 put them up 1. That 3 either put them up 1 or put them up 2, or brung them within 1 or 2. So to only be down by that much, and you fell way behind in 3-pointer. They finished the game off only 3 of 20. 15% from 3 last night. Now, where they worked a lot at, the free throw, they shot really good from their free throw line. They shot 80%. And then from the field, it was about even. But Tyus Jones, I'm thinking about his brother. Trey Jones, timely steals. They got out and ran a lot in transition. After those turnovers, they converted almost all of their turnovers into points. So that kind of offset not making a lot of threes when you're making them turn the ball over a lot. Trey Jones was a big part of that. Duke Blue Devils won 69-58 to move into 11-1. This Texas Tech team in the Big 12 is going to be really tough. This is going to be a really, really tough team. This is going to be a really, really good team. I can see this team making it back to the Elite Eight. If I'm not mistaken, they did make it to the Elite Eight last year, if I'm not mistaken. I can see them doing that again. That's a really good football. That's a really good basketball team in that Texas Tech Red Raiders. Congrats to my Duke Blue Devils. But moving on, we have 2 Saturday night games tomorrow night. I know there were no Thursday night games this week, so they moved the games to Saturday, obviously because there's no college football being played right now, nothing but the bowl games, and those are like once every few days or so. So we have tomorrow, or we won't have another college football game until Tuesday. Saturday, I'm sorry. Next Saturday, the 22nd. Toledo FIU is playing right now on ESPN. Toledo is winning 7-0. They have the ball. Western Michigan, BYU play later on today at 2 p.m. Mountain time. There's 4 p.m. East Coast time. But we have 2 NFL games tomorrow night on Saturday night. We got the Redskins at the Titans, and then we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. That game, yes, the Baltimore Ravens at the Chargers. Redskins and Titans is at 2:30 p.m. Mountain time, so that's 4:30 East Coast time. This is a big game for the Washington Redskins. They're 1 game out of that 6th place in the playoff race. Minnesota Vikings are holding that spot at 7-6-1, a half game above the Washington Redskins, obviously because they got that tie with the Green Bay Packers in week 2. So this is prime position for the Redskins. The Redskins are also a half game out of first place in the NFC East. They win this game, they'll go to 8-7. The Cowboys will also move to 8-7 if they lose against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now the Cowboys face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. The Cowboys were still on that tiebreaker, obviously winning, having the better conference record at 7-3. They'll only move to 7-4. Washington will go to 7-5, so they will still have the better conference record. But this is a big game for the Washington Redskins, who will have Josh Johnson starting, and I don't really like that. They won last week in Jacksonville, but that's a Jacksonville team that's kind of beat down. That's a Jacksonville team that don't really know where they're going. They don't have a quarterback. They know how good that defense could be, but they have no offense. You can do that against Jacksonville. I don't think that happens against this Tennessee Titans team, who is a really good defensive team that's only allowing 18 points per game this year, which is in their favor because Washington is only scoring 19 points. I think with a backup quarterback, Tennessee Titans can be in prime position to win this game. It's going to be a defensive and a ground game. Whichever team have the best running game, I think wins this game. Adrian Peterson, 923 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's coming up on 1,000 yards, which is amazing for his age. He's had a really good season with the Washington Redskins, and this team will be way better if all the injuries had not occurred. This team had a 3-game lead in that division before the injuries started taking place. Make no mistake about it, this Washington Redskins team is a really good team. Derrick Henry, 882 yards, 11 touchdowns. He's been killing it this year. I think the team that have the best running game, the team that controls the clock the most, and the quarterback that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win this game. Washington defense started out good. What have they been lately? Is that because the offense hasn't been good? I don't know. Whatever it is, they're going to have to get it figured out in order to keep their playoff hopes alive in that NFC division or in that NFC East. They can still get a wild card. You know, they are still in prime position to get the wild card right now. They win tomorrow night. They go to 8-7. The Seahawks are sitting at 8-6, and if the Minnesota Vikings go play Green Bay, who are now occupying that 6th spot, the Minnesota Vikings that is, they're going to Detroit. It's a game that they probably should win. It's a game that they may win, but it's also a game that they can lose within the division. And Kirk Cousins has been really hit or miss this year. They made the switch. They fired John DeFilippo a few games ago. They come out last week and put up 41 points. Let's see if they can reciprocate that against the Detroit Lions on Sunday. But if they don't, they're sitting out of the playoffs. And if the Redskins win, that bump them up there. However, with that being said, I think the Tennessee Titans will win this game. I would pick the Redskins if the Redskins was playing at home. They're not playing at home. They're traveling to Tennessee. I like Tennessee to win this game at home. They're going to be the most relaxed team. They don't have to be on the road. Tennessee also know what's at stake. They're sitting at a three-team lock between them, the Colts, and the Colts, and I believe it's Miami is sitting right there, and Baltimore, Indianapolis are all sitting right there at 8-6. So they know what's at stake to move ahead, and get a win here and move to 9-6 and not be 8-7 with the Colts and Baltimore. I think Baltimore, obviously, we're going to talk about them in a little bit. I think they're also going to have a tough time playing the Los Angeles Chargers. But this win will be big for the Tennessee Titans, a game that they're going to need, where the Colts are playing the Giants, which should be a win as well. So they cannot fall behind. They can't fall behind. I think the Tennessee Titans win this game in a very, very low scoring game. I think something like 17-10 or 17-16. I think will be the score. Tennessee will win this game. Moving along to the second game we got in the NFL tomorrow night. This game is going to be at 6:20 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 8:20 Eastern Standard Time. The Chargers are a 4-point favorite, which is kind of crazy to me that they're only a 4-point favorite, considering Keenan Allen will be back and Melvin Gordon will be back. So that's kind of interesting, and they're playing at home. So that's interesting that, the odds maker Vegas only got the Chargers as the 4-point favorite. I'm just not even going to play around with this. I think the LA Chargers are going to win this game. I think the LA Chargers is the best team in the AFC, if not the best team in the NFL. That still be determined if they're going to be able to go on the road and win. Obviously, Kansas City is ahead of that division right now. They could move ahead, go right now, and be 12-3, which will put them in first place, obviously because of record, until Sunday when the Kansas City Chiefs play the Seahawks on the road. That's going to be a really, really tough game. Russell Wilson and that team, Pete Carroll, they're looking to get the scratch and claw to get themselves in the playoffs. So this right here is going to be a big, big game for the LA Chargers. But like I say, they getting Melvin Gordon back, a guy who's at 802 yards on the season, 9 touchdowns, and he missed the last 3 games. Imagine what he would have done in those last 3 games. Melvin Gordon will probably be in the Pro Bowl in the AFC. He would probably replace, maybe like a Phillip Lindsay, who's actually had a really good season, or Melvin Gordon is in the AFC running back discussion. I'm sorry, I was thinking about the NFC with Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. Sorry about that. The three running backs in the AFC is Phillip Lindsay, James Conner, and Melvin Gordon. Sorry about that. But Melvin Gordon has missed the last 3 games, and he has 802 yards and 9 touchdowns. I could easily see if he played in those 3 games, he would at least probably get 100 yards in each of those games. So we're looking at about 1,100 yards or so, maybe 1080, close to 1,100. I think he definitely have at least 13 touchdowns to even bolster that season. A lot of people haven't been watching Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon has had a quiet season because nobody really talks about the LA Chargers like that. But this guy has really, really had a good season. Phillip Rivers, another guy who made the Pro Bowl, 31 touchdowns, the 8 interceptions, 3,951 yards. This guy, Phillip Rivers, rejuvenated his career this year. And he's always been a really solid quarterback. He just don't get the hype because he doesn't have the Super Bowls to back that up. Keenan Allen, as I mentioned earlier, supposed to be back. 88 catches, over 1,000 yards, almost 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. He went out with a hip pointer in last Thursday night game. He's expected to play. He got that extra rest, that 10-day rest, 9-day rest. So I think this Chargers team is primed to go ahead and overtake and be that number 1 seed in the AFC. If the Chargers get the number 1 seed, I've been saying this since like week 4 or 5. If the Chargers get the number 1 seed, it's going to be over for whoever else. The Chargers was my pick at the start of the year to be the AFC West champions. Right now, they're proving my point. They're making me look kind of smart. Right now at 11-3, primed to be 12-3. If this team gets home field throughout, it could be tough. It can be really tough for anybody coming in there trying to play them, especially at full strength. Melvin Ingram, Melvin Gordon, or Brandon Ingram. Melvin Ingram, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, Antonio Gates, Phillip Rivers, Derwin James, who I haven't even talked about. Rookie to make the Pro Bowl, 96 tackles, 3.5 sacks, three interceptions. This guy is a Mr. Do-It-All. He gets on the line of scrimmage. He plays that linebacker technique, that Terrell Suggs, Von Miller type stand-up defensive end, Troy Polamalu type. See, Derwin James is one of those guys, he's kind of positionless because he runs a 4.3. He's 6'3", 220-some pounds. Can tackle, can cover. He can do it all. So when you got a guy like that, it's hard to just put him to a position. Although he's labeled as a free safety, Derwin James does it all. He plays defense end. He plays linebacker. He plays safety. He plays nickel corner. He plays corner. He does it all. You know, basically what that position is it's like a rover position. When I was in high school, we kind of played that defense. You know, it's like a 3-3-5 stack. You know, where you have that extra DB to account for the guy that the DB that you're gonna have roaming all over the place, which is normally your best athlete. That's Derwin James right now. You see him up on the line of scrimmage. You see him in the slot. You see him playing back. He can do it all. I said it from the beginning. This guy was gonna be a monster. He has been the defensive rookie of the year. He's a Pro Bowl starter as a rookie. This guy is everything that people wish that they had, and I don't understand why so many people missed out on him. And I guess I can't say missed out because they just didn't take him. So missing out really won't give it justice. They didn't miss out; they just didn't pick him, which is kind of odd to me. But that's going to be it for today's show, guys. Make sure you tune in to RTL Sports Talk on Sunday morning, 7:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be getting some game picks over there. Make sure you guys tune into the Unpopular Opinion next week as well. We really should be on 5 days a week next week. I gave you guys 3 days this week, but we really should be on 5 days next week. Really start picking it up. The good bowl games will be coming around as well. So we're going to be picking bowl games on the channel. So I thank you guys for all the love and support. Continue to download and subscribe to the podcast. Give your guys self a round of applause. I appreciate the support. I'll be back here on Monday. See you guys on Monday or Sunday. RTL Sports Talk. Monday, Unpopular Opinion.
Sky's the limit and I'm busting out the ceiling. Starting to get to the point where I don't catch feeling. Just counting these millions. I need 100 a show. If you can't pay, it's enough. I will never sell my soul. That's the truth, Lord knows. All I need is good vibes, so I don't trust these hoes. I done lost my bros. That's just how the game goes. Came a long way, get it straight. They want the food on my plate. They don't want to see me strive, but want a piece of the cake. All I need is good vibes, and everything will be great. But they rather tell lies. I don't have time for the fake. Who would've knew? Praying to God, asking what do I do? I've been the truth since I came out the womb. Keep it 100, got nothing to lose, got nothing to fear. Let it be clear, God got my back with no